I hope you guys are all having a great start to 2023. I'm honestly really excited to get into today's video because I feel like I have so much to share in relation to goal setting and getting clear about your goals, as well as taking action on them and not just writing them down once and forgetting about them. And I feel like at the start of the year, that's kind of something we usually do, is like we'll write them out and we just kind of let them fade away throughout the year. And I'm also excited because I'm going to be meshing in some astrology as well. And just in the last year, I've gotten really interested in astrology, and I've kind of done a deep dive into it. I'm definitely not an expert, but I've learned some key points that I feel like would be really beneficial to bring them in with our goals. I think you guys are really going to find the astrology piece pretty interesting, just because I think a lot of times, we start the new year off and we're like, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds and I want to get in the best shape of my life and I, want to buy a new car, and they're great goals to have, and personally I have some of those goals myself this year. But I think when you bring in the more meaningful aspects and kind of the personal development goals, I think those are really gonna make the biggest difference over the year. So with astrology, that's really going to do that. It's really going to piece things together, and maybe you might look at your astrological goals and say, wow, those are the things that I've been maybe putting off and maybe sounds scary to me and I just don't want to do it. We're also going to be doing a little manifesting ritual and some vision boarding. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I planned out my vision board. I'm going to add in like a little practice that you can do with your partner if you are in a relationship. I personally think that it's really important to have a sit down with your partner at the beginning of the year and kind of reflect on everything that went on the past year. And it kind of gives you guys a safe space to communicate and just talk about how you're feeling and how the year went, as well as how you want this coming year to look. So something that I like to do before any intentional spiritual practice, I like to physically clean my space as well as energetically clear my space. I feel like it just sets the tone. When you have a clear space, you have a clear mind. I feel like when our spaces are super cluttered, our brains feel cluttered and it's hard for us to take the first step. And I like to energetically clear my space with some music and copal and just kind of have a little ceremony for myself. So yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys everything that I do and how I'm going to prepare for the new year. I was just about to make myself some food right now and I just realized I don't need to, and I'm glad I didn't start because my boyfriend actually bought me some sweet greens, so I need to go downstairs in like 20-ish minutes to pick it up.
20 minutes later.
I was not planning on getting super sweaty like this before our goal setting, but I had to mop, so we're getting it done. I also don't have like a proper mop. We have this Swiffer thing and I haven't been using the wet pads just because they have like fragrance and different chemicals in them, so I like to use my Branch Basic solution with it. And so I basically just put on an old towel and scrub the floors with it. I've been wanting to get one of those mops that have like the two circle things on them and it's like electric, so they just like kind of mop the floor on its own. You just kind of go back and forth. So yeah, our last place was not as much hardwood, and so here it's literally all tile. So I've been trying to manage with just this, and it's been a lot of work. I feel like I get so sweaty after because I really have to scrub. All right, so now we're going to energetically cleanse the house. I have my copal and I have all the tools that I need to burn it. I also have like a little coal on the inside. You need coal if you have like the actual sap. Before we light it and start setting our intentions and everything, I need to open up the windows and the doors to welcome in the new fresh energy and let the old energy, stagnant energy leave. So we're gonna do that. All right, so hopefully it's not too loud because everything is open right now. So now we are going to light it and start setting our intentions and basically visualizing the energy leaving the home as you are going around with your copal or whatever you are using. I also like to play some meditation, kind of vibey music to go along with it. I also like to sometimes listen to shamanic drumming when I do this. Just depends, like whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm feeling aligned to do. Wowza, it is so humid today. My house is getting so hot already. Okay, hopefully that doesn't turn on. It's turning on. Hold on. So what I like to do is I like to sit down before I start burning the copal and just sit with it, close my eyes, and thank it for helping me cleanse the energy in my home and just supporting me through cleansing and purifying the house. I also like to visualize the smoke of the copal cleansing the air and really eliminating all of the heavy energy, the stagnant energy, and releasing it outside. As we cleanse the air, we are welcoming in new energy into our space. I also like to cleanse my aura, cleanse my body as we are doing it, so I'll show you guys how I do that. Also, if you listen to music or you put on your favorite meditation playlist or shamanic drumming or chanting, also feel free to like sing along with it. Singing is actually an act of prayer and it's a way to give back to Mother Earth, and kind of sounds different if that's new to you, but it actually is a way of giving your thanks to the earth, and it's a way you commune with the energies around you. Okay, the house is cleansed and it honestly feels so good in here, and the smell is incredible, and I just feel so complete and ready to do this. I'm really excited. So whenever you guys are ready, grab some tea, make yourself some matcha or an herbal tea, get comfortable, and we're gonna get into our goal setting. So I first want to jump into the astrology aspect of it. I feel like it's a really cool home base for you to start planning your goals and to just have them in the back of your mind. I'm only going to be going over some key parts of your birth chart, so it's not going to be like this overwhelming astrology lesson. Once again, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm like not an expert on it, but I do know how to work with it in this aspect and pulling different parts of the chart so you can plan ahead and look at your future, if that makes sense. The main parts of the chart that I'm going to be talking about is your north node, your rising sign, your Jupiter, and I'm going to talk a little tiny bit about your MC. But the top three that I want to talk about is Jupiter, North Node, and your rising sign. So to start off, I feel like most people know what your rising sign is. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about right now as far as astrology, you can look at your birth chart just by typing in free birth chart on Google, and obviously click on a good site. I'll list a few right here that are safe, and from there you'll see all your planets, all your houses, and all of that. So I'm first going to talk about your rising sign because I feel like your rising sign is probably the sign that most people know about. Your rising sign basically symbolizes the person that you're going to continuously become in your life. I'm going to be using examples from my own chart so you guys can kind of understand, but if you're wondering what your sign means in your specific chart, leave it in the comments and I will do my best to help you out. So my rising sign is Leo, And I feel like within the last year or so, I've been morphing into this more expansive energy of Leo. Leo has this bigger than life attitude, this big personality. You can also understand what you look like physically from looking at your rising sign, which is also interesting. They say that Leo risings usually have thick hair. They sometimes have like cat-like eyes, broad shoulders, and I honestly forget what all the characteristics are, but that's also very interesting. So basically, over the course of my whole life, I'm going to continuously be morphing into this Leo energy. And Leos are like the actors, the models, the performers of the zodiac. They usually have a lot of confidence and they don't really care what other people think. That is one thing that I've been trying to work on, is having more confidence and just being myself and not really caring what other people think. Also, taking a look at how you were as a child. I also think about how I was as a kid, and I was this very, very creative, performative child that would dance and sing and put on performances for my family, and my parents would come home and I would have bungee cords with Barbies connected around the house, and honestly I don't even know how I would do it, but my parents were always just like, how do you come up with these things, and you know, where is that coming from? But now I understand that that's part of the Leo energy in me that was wanting to come out. And what's kind of sad is that throughout life we sometimes dim those parts of ourselves and we lose sight of, you know, the person that we're meant to be and who we really are at the core. We all go through trauma as children. If it's mild trauma or a lot of trauma, we all go through it, and so that shapes who we are as adults, and so sometimes that can put a damper on the person that we are meant to be. So whatever your rising sign is, look into it and really study the characteristics of whatever sign that is and really see how those parts of you can come to life this year. The next thing I want to touch on is your North Node. So when you look at your North Node, that's your life purpose, and looking at your South Node, that could have ties to a past life or maybe just characteristics that you are trying to shed in this lifetime. So for example, my North Node is in Libra, which means that my purpose on life is to be very community-based and be able to collaborate with other people better and communicate better. Your South Node is basically connected to your past life and things that you were meant to shift in this lifetime. So my South Node is in Aries, and now that my North Node is in Libra, my soul's purpose is to learn how to work more with community and to be more collaborative and open and able to communicate with others in a more loving way. It could have been that in a past life I was very closed off, or I wasn't able to communicate my feelings that well, or I just wasn't able to work with other people that well. So now in this lifetime, I'm supposed to be bringing people together, bringing people in community, and being able to learn how to communicate my own needs with others in a very loving way. And again, if you don't know what it means to have your Scorpio in your North Node or Aries in your North Node or anything like that, just write it in the comments and I will try to explain it to the best of my ability. The next one I want to talk about is your Jupiter. I love talking about your Jupiter because I just get so excited because it just feels so aligned. And for me, looking at my Jupiter, it was kind of like, ugh, because it was the things that I knew that I was putting off. And, you know, the life lessons that I knew I need to embrace instead of just push to the side. So when you look at your Jupiter sign, Jupiter is a planet of expansion and luck. When you look at the sign that's connected with your Jupiter, you are gonna see the sign that brings you the most luck. And so what it means is that the actions and the energy that that sign gives off is going to bring you a lot of expansion and a lot of luck. So for me, my Jupiter is in Capricorn, and what it means is that Capricorn is the entrepreneur of the zodiac. They are the business owners, they are organized, they're on top of things, they have a strategy for everything, and they just know what they're doing. And that's also a sign that really doesn't care what other people think, and they are gonna go forward with their ideas no matter what. So for me, that is something that's been kind of hard for me, but I also have noticed that when I'm organized and when I am in my own body and I am on top of the things that I want to do, and I don't care who is watching or who is judging, and I just go full force with whatever it is I want to do, I do find the most luck, and I find my life expands. For example, when I was building my Instagram, I did a Reels challenge for 30 days, and I was consistent every single day. Even if I woke up and I didn't want to do it, I posted one, and I was very on top of it. Even when I would get a negative comment, I would just say, I don't care, I'm gonna keep going. And it ultimately led me to do this today and to grow my account. And so if I were to never take on those Capricorn-like traits, I would not be doing what I do today. I wouldn't have the audience I have on Instagram, and I really just wouldn't be living the life I live today. So as I embodied that Capricorn energy, as I got more organized, as I planned out things that I needed to do, and I really took action on them and kind of blocked out the outside noise, I was able to make a lot of progress. And in turn, that gave me a lot of expansion and a lot of luck. So as you look at Jupiter in your chart and seeing whatever sign is connected to it, really study the traits of that sign and see how you can integrate them into your life. And again, if you are unsure about the sign that's connected to Jupiter, maybe you have Aries or Libra or Scorpio or Taurus or whatever, let me know in the comments and I will try to do what I can to help you out. So I did kind of want to touch on the MC. To me, your MC is your career line, and so obviously that would really be helpful when it comes to setting goals and doing the things as far as your career goes. And like I said, with really all the other ones that I was talking about, whatever sign is connected to your MC line, those are the traits that will help you in your career. So looking at your MC and seeing whatever sign is connected with it, it will help you see who you're supposed to become in your career, and it can kind of help you get a blueprint of like what career path you should take. So maybe you're in a spot right now where you are working at a job that you are not passionate about, and you are maybe drained and you're ready to make a switch. Learning your MC might help you a little bit, and it might give you some ideas and insight into maybe a new path you could take. So looking at mine, my MC line is connected with Taurus, and Taurus is connected with money. They're connected with creativity and fashion and sensuality and the arts, basically. And personally, learning about that makes a lot of sense because I love being creative and I love making videos and I love using my creativity to birth things into the world, and so I get really excited about it. So learning about that was really, really aligned, and it just made me feel like I was on the right path, and it just makes a lot of sense. So whatever sign is connected with your MC line, let me know in the comments, and if you're unsure about what it is your career path should be or the traits that you should have in your life, let me know in the comments and I will try to help you out. I also want to touch on, there's always going to be a flip side to all of the ones that I mentioned. And I mean, every sign is going to have a negative trait. So for example, Taurus, they are known to be a little lazy. They love to sleep and they love to kind of push things off. And that is something that I do struggle with. And I know that that's not beneficial for my career if I'm lazy all the time and I'm not taking action, which goes back to my Jupiter, which is in Capricorn. And Capricorns are the sign of discipline, getting things done, and being organized. So it really just all comes full circle. So now that we went through all of that, you can use all of those aspects that we went through and put them in alignment with your goals. You don't have to be exact and stay in the constraints of those specific signs and all of that. You can obviously have your own goals that aren't related to astrology or any of that. I just like to bring in astrology, especially if maybe you're confused about what you want your goals to be and maybe you want to make a career change or you want to find your passion in life or your purpose. Astrology might give you a good blueprint for that. Okay, so now that we cleared up everything with your astrological chart, I kind of wanted to show you guys how you can plan some goals around them. So this is what I did, basically, and we have the 4 parts that we just went over and some bullet points underneath. So I'll go through my goals with you just so you guys can get an idea of how you can plan goals around your specific sign. So for your rising sign, again, that's something that you are meant to become, meant to morph into. This can sometimes be very uncomfortable because you might not resonate a lot with your rising sign, and maybe it's a sign that is like completely opposite to who you are as a person, and it might be uncomfortable. So for me, Leo is my rising sign. and Leos are the performers, the actors, the models. This is actually a goal I've had since I was a little girl, and I really want to make strides towards this goal this year, which scares me a little bit, but it also excites me, and I know that it's the path that I ultimately want to go down at some point. I have always wanted to get into modeling, and I've always loved the idea of becoming an actress or modeling. So with that, I want to start looking into modeling agencies and applying and seeing where that can take me. I'm honestly very nervous because I know there's a chance that I can get turned down, but I also know that I have to try in order to get somewhere. So that's one of my goals with my rising sign. You guys also don't have to put a million goals under each of these. You can just pick one if you wanted. The last goal that I have in relation to my rising sign is basically learning how to be more confident and speak what's on my mind and speak my feelings. That's something that I've honestly been continuing to work on the last few years. So my North Node is in Libra, and we already talked about this, but basically that is your life purpose, and having that with Libra is basically learning how to work with community, being able to communicate better, and ultimately bring community and people together. Something that also excites me and makes me nervous is hosting gatherings together, whether it's virtual or in person. I did one last year and it was honestly amazing. I felt like I was buzzing afterwards. It was an online event with my friend Rosemary, and it just felt so aligned and it felt really good to bring people together. I also worked at a retreat last January, and that was also really, really scary and nerve-wracking, but I actually ended up meeting some of my best friends. And if I weren't to do those things and make myself uncomfortable, I wouldn't have the support system that I have today. With that said, I want to host another online event, if not just one, maybe multiple. Ugh, my foot is asleep. Okay. You know when it like tickles and you don't want to move it? All right. So like I was saying, so basically I want to start hosting some online events. If not multiple, at least one in the coming year. I hopefully will have the confidence to do more than one. I don't know if I'll do some in-person, but honestly that sounds really fun. So maybe if you're in Miami and you want to get together, let me know. Another goal that I have in relation to that is making new friends out here. I'm new to Miami. This is a new city for me. I was in St. Pete for about 6 months before we moved here, and I really didn't take any action on meeting new friends, and I just was at home comfortable in my space, and I honestly wish I would have taken more time to get uncomfortable and branch out and find new people to hang out with. So that's a goal that I have. I want to maybe try Bumble BFF or start going to coffee shops or smoothie places and just find friends that way and just, you know, meet people naturally that way. That's also a goal that I have in relation to my North Node, is making new friends. So now we're going to talk about Jupiter in Capricorn, and like I said, this is the sign or the planet of expansion, of luck. So whatever characteristics that your sign has, if you adopt them, you will call in luck and expansiveness. So with all that said, I am going to have the goal of being more organized and really planning out my weeks ahead and staying true to the plans and the to-do list that I have. I feel like a lot of times I'll write stuff out and then I just won't even cross it off or won't even go through with it. So I feel best when I'm organized and I have a schedule. Another goal that I have is to reorganize the course that I have. I have a course to help clear acne, but there's a lot of different parts that I want to change within the course, and I've kind of been putting it off. So that's also something that I want to get done this year. Next is my MC line. I feel like I'm already living in alignment with my MC line, but I honestly could create more space for myself to be more creative, to sit in silence, and instead of getting ideas on Instagram and TikTok for inspiration, and obviously we do that and sometimes it works, but also sometimes you can find yourself scrolling and it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. So I also find myself sometimes getting a little drained after being on Instagram scrolling, trying to find inspiration of content and ideas. So I really want to work on having my creativity and my ideas come from within, as opposed to getting ideas on the external realm. So that's something that I'm gonna work on, is really exercising my creativity and allowing myself silence and time to think. So now we're gonna talk about the overall goals for the year and the different categories that we can set goals in, just so we're a little bit more organized. So I saw this person on YouTube that had this really cool idea to set goals. I'm not gonna be doing it this way, but if you wanna do it this way, feel free. I just really like the idea. She kind of makes a little tree. It kind of looks like a family tree, but all of them have the different categories of goals that you can set them in. I'm just gonna write them out long ways just because I feel like it's easier for me. This is a very tiny little journal. So the main categories that we're gonna have goals set in are health, financial, fun, personal development, intellectual, spiritual, career, relationships/community. Okay, so I just completed all of my goal setting around each category, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can do it to be more organized and honestly to be realistic about the goals you have and to understand the intention of your goal. I feel like those are really important things to go into when it comes to your goals. I asked on Instagram if you guys have any things that maybe you struggle with when it comes to goals, and one of them was how to be realistic and stay motivated. And I feel like the two main points for me is to understand my why and to have some action steps along with it. So if your goal is not realistic, you're not gonna be able to have any action steps connected with it. So for example, if I had this crazy goal that I wanted to become president this year or next year without any political experience and really without any knowledge of political science or anything, and I basically had that goal, I probably wouldn't know the first step to take, and I would probably also know that the candidates that are lined up for the presidential election are already set in stone and there's already the bigger candidates ahead of me, and it's just probably not possible. So if you are finding yourself with goals like that, then maybe you can reconsider them. But it's also not a bad thing to have really big goals for your overall life. Maybe it's a 5-year kind of goal. But if you have this crazy goal that you want to accomplish in 2023, there might be some time that you need to take to reflect on it and maybe see what steps you need to take over the course of a few years. There is no goal that is too big. I just think that some goals take more time to get to, and that's okay. I feel like we should all enjoy the journey of reaching the goals that we have and just being realistic a little bit. In relation to the motivation aspect, I think going into your why is really important and understanding what your intention is for each goal. Instead of just writing out your goal like, I want to lose 20 pounds and just going on to the next category, I really want you to understand what your why is behind that, as well as the action steps that you're going to take to get to that goal. So if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, maybe your why is because you want to wake up and feel really good in the morning and confident, and you want to feel lighter inside your body, and you just know that you'll feel better if you lose that weight. Maybe you're struggling with some health issues and you feel that losing that extra weight will help you. Those are really good whys to add into your goal. The action steps that you're going to take to reach that goal, if you want to lose that 20 pounds, you are most likely going to have to eat healthier. You're going to have to move your body every day. Maybe you'll have to take some steps to reduce stress and do some mental work. So that's like an example of going through each goal. So for the health category, I have it broken down into physical, mental, and emotional. Your physical goals will obviously be connected with your physical body. For example, if you want to lose that weight, or you have acne maybe and you really want to clear it up, or you have some sort of thing going on with your physical body that you want to heal or transform, that's something that you could add into your physical goals. So for me, I want to feel good in my body, and I also want to lose a little bit of extra weight and gain some muscle. So for my health goals, I realized that my why was basically already stated inside of my goal, so I didn't really have to go far into my why, but I did want to include some action steps with them. So for my physical goal, like I said, I want to feel good in my body and I want to lose at some extra weight and I want to gain muscle. So the action steps that I'm going to be taking towards those goals is to work out every day, eat healthy, and to continue to prioritize protein. My mental goals are to set strong boundaries with others and meditate every day. Obviously, my why is to better my mental health within all of that. And my action steps are to say no when I want/need to, and clearly communicate my boundaries. My action steps to meditate every day is to set aside time in the morning and to not automatically check my phone in the morning and instead use that time to meditate in silence. So I'm gonna wake up, make my chlorophyll water and my smoothie, and sit down and have a little time with myself for like 15-20 minutes. I also want to start waking up earlier to do that, so that's also an action step that I want to take. For my emotional goals, I want to regulate my nervous system, and I also want to become more aware of my triggers. My action steps in relation to those is to eat nourishing foods, become aware of what is causing the internal upset, and to practice vagus nerve stimulation. As far as becoming aware of my triggers, my action steps is to not react and to sit with my emotions and to ask myself what is triggering me. And this one's kind of interesting because I've noticed that like sometimes my boyfriend will have an off mood, or maybe he's just tired from work, and I instantly feel like it's my fault and I feel like I'm the one that needs to fix it. And so obviously I know that's deeply rooted in trauma and certain things that I went through, and so that's connected to certain programmings that I have and things that I need to release, because none of us are responsible for other people's emotions. So I noticed that that's something that I really need to work on, and I shouldn't take things so personally and be a fixer. All right, so for financial, I want to increase my income from coaching and from my matcha business. My how is to be more organized, to complete my acne course, and to promote my services more. My why is to share more wellness in the world and to basically make more wealth for myself so I can give more and help more. So for fun, I want to travel, I want to grow on YouTube and my other social platforms, and I also want to get into modeling. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to plan the trips and I'm going to save up money to do so. So to grow on YouTube and other socials, I need to be consistent and have fun with it. To become a model, I'm going to have to apply to agencies. So those are my action steps. My why is self-explanatory. I want to have fun doing all of those. So my 2 intellectual goals is to learn Spanish this year and to possibly further my education and my certifications. So my how to learn Spanish is to set time aside to practice more and to be more consistent and organized with it. I feel like I always push it off and I need to be on top of it. To further my certifications and education, I need to really dive deep and see if the certifications that I want to take is something that I'm willing to make an investment for, and if it's really aligned with my passion. So my why for learning Spanish is to communicate with people better here in Miami. A lot of people speak Spanish here and it's beautiful, and I honestly am very jealous. My boyfriend is fluent, it was his first language, so something that I've been really wanting to learn and refresh myself on. Also, I want to be able to communicate with his family better, and we are actually going to Mexico next year, so I'm going to be meeting a whole other side of his family that I have not met yet, and I obviously want to be able to communicate with them. And yeah, furthering my education, my why, I just love learning and I love diving into my passions and just furthering my knowledge, so that is my why. So for spiritual goals, I want to take more time to work with and connect with plant spirits. I was doing this for a little while a few months ago, and it was honestly such a beautiful experience to get to know the plants that I was working with on a more deep level, and I really enjoyed doing it, but I kind of fell off. And my other goal is to use my altar more and to redo it. I want to remake it to look beautiful. So my why is I want to build a strong relationship with plants and honestly just the earth around me. And my why for redoing my altar is I want to really use it as my sacred space, and I want to honor it more. And I feel like a lot of times I just go into meditation and I forget that I need to redo my altar and make it look nice and put the things on it that I want on it. My steps for my altar is that I'm going to buy some flowers for my altar and basically reorganize it and put some pictures and make it look the way I want it to look. So for the plant meditations, my steps I'm going to take is I'm going to plan a plant meditation once a week, and I'm going to start writing out the certain plants that I want to work with and start dropping into some meditations with some tea. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start planning those once a week. So that's really everything. The other ones that I was gonna do, but I actually realized we kind of already covered it pretty well inside of the astrology part, was career, relationships and community, and personal development. I felt like those three we kind of already like went over inside of our astrological part. So I would still go in every category and still write out the goals, write out your why, and write out your action steps. I know that was a lot, but now we get to go into the fun part, and we're going to be going into our manifesting ritual. So for this manifestation ritual, I'm going to need you to get a glass of water that's filled all the way to the top, and get comfy, get really snuggly for this manifestation ritual, and also have the planner that you just wrote all your goals out in right next to you. Okay, so now that you have your water and your journal that you just wrote everything in, we're gonna be doing a little bit of vision work, and we're also gonna be doing this manifestation ritual. And this is honestly my favorite one. I feel like everything that I have called in while doing this ritual has come to life. So yeah, it's pretty cool. With manifestations, I truly believe that you need to meet the universe, meet God halfway in order to receive your manifestation. Although things do come by chance. Maybe one day you wake up and you receive a gift from somebody of something that you've been really wanting, and maybe you've been saving for it and it just comes into your life. That's totally possible. But I really do believe that when we meet the universe and God halfway, we are rewarded a lot more, and it just shows that we are willing to do whatever it takes to receive that manifestation. So what I want you to do is open up your booklet to the page that you wrote all your goals on. And I want you to sit here and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine the biggest goals, the most exciting goals that you have that you wrote down today. I want you to envision them coming to life. And as you do this, I want you to exhale all the air in your lungs. And as you inhale, I want you to slowly inhale all of the goals that you just set, and just really fill yourself up with the excitement of reaching the goals. Really letting it breathe through your heart as it comes up. And exhale, and you can return to your normal breath. And if it feels aligned, you can do that a few more times. But I really want you to start envisioning each goal that you have. I want you to envision yourself, how you look, how you feel. You can even get really specific in your visualization. Maybe think about what you're wearing, what the setting is. Maybe you're on a beach. Your emotions don't understand the difference of actually receiving it as opposed to just feeling it. So when we get into the feelings of having something that we desire, we are creating a space to invite the new energy in. I know you guys have probably heard of the saying, like attracts like. And when your body is in a state of receiving and a state of excitement, and it can actually visualize something coming to life, your body is going to attract that same thing. It's going to be pulling in that manifestation a lot stronger and quicker. I want you to hold the cup up to your lips, and I want you to really just look at the water. And I want you to send some loving thoughts to the water. You can even speak to the water. Tell it thank you, I love you. If you don't know Dr. Moto, he has some beautiful studies around water and how water can actually respond to feelings and prayer and words. So when you speak loving words and kind thoughts to your water, it actually changes the molecular structure of it. So it's a really cool study. You can look into it yourself, but That's why I really love working with water and doing this within my rituals. And now I want you to speak your manifestations into the water. So the things that you are really ready to call into your life, you're ready to expand in different areas of your life, and you're just ready to receive. So I want you to speak those things into the water. You can just whisper them. I know it might be uncomfortable if you are talking to your water and maybe you're with people right now, but just really connect with your water and whisper the manifestations that you want to call in. You can pause the video right now if you need a moment to do that. But next, we are going to hold the water up to our hearts, really connecting with the center part of your heart, letting the glass hit your chest. Your hands aren't in the way, it's really connected with your body. And I want you to close your eyes and envision those manifestations coming to life, and envision those manifestations pouring into the water. So take a moment and do that. You can pause the video here and take a moment and take your time with it. Really send your love into the glass as you're doing it. So once you're complete with that, I want you to once again look at the water, connect with it, and when you're ready, I want you to take a sip and really envision that sip of all of your manifestations coming into your body, you welcoming them in and you receiving them. And as you do this, thank the water with every sip. You're going to finish the glass all the way and just kind of sit with yourself and connect with the water, take some time with it, and with every sip, I'm really wanting you to envision your manifestations flowing into your body, flowing into your life. I found so much luck doing this, and yeah, I love it. And it's also a cool way to connect with the element of water and to give your gratitude to water. Earlier, we worked with the element of fire and also air when we were cleansing the house. So it's just cool to be able to work with the elements and to work with the earth and feel supported in that way. So that is the manifestation ritual that just will tie in all of the goals that we just set. I also want to show you guys my vision board situation and how you guys can create a vision board for yourself for the whole year. I also forgot to mention that I wanted to also share this for couples. If you are in a relationship, I feel like this is a really cool practice to do with your partner at the end of the year and just at the start in January. It just helps you connect with your partner better. I just saw this post the other day from Centered Self Therapy, and I honestly thought it was a really cool thing to do with your partner. It's like an end of year check-in, as well as setting new goals with your partner. So I'm gonna actually add a picture right here of it, just so you guys can use those questions and maybe ask your partner if they'd be willing to sit down with you over dinner and to just go over this checklist and to talk about the last year and to also plan ahead for the year ahead. I just feel like it's a really cool, healthy thing that you guys can do, and me and my partner already talked about it, and we are actually gonna set aside time this weekend to do it together. I feel like it's really important to take some time with your partner to do that, because I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in the day-to-day and we forget to communicate things that maybe have been fostering or things that have just been on our minds. So I highly recommend you guys trying it out. We will be doing it too. I also forgot to mention that I received a message on Instagram asking how to stay consistent and organized with your goals. And like I said, I feel like a lot of times at the beginning of the year, we have all these New Year's resolutions and there's like all these things that we want to do, but we forget about them halfway through the year, or maybe even earlier, and we just forget to check in with ourselves. I feel like something that could be really helpful is creating 12 events in your calendar, one for every month. Obviously, this month is done, but for the next 11 months, create a little event in your calendar on maybe a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever day and whatever time you know specifically you are gonna be able to do. And whatever date that is, I want you to revisit all of the goals that you just set and maybe tweak them a little bit, write about how you have made steps towards them, and maybe if you want to create new goals, you can do that too. But I feel like setting aside some time to do those monthly check-ins is really helpful. So you're gonna create an event in your phone. So I think what I'm gonna do is every first Sunday of the month, I'm going to set aside some time for myself and go into all these goals and revise and maybe journal a little bit about them. Okay, I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. I had to switch to my phone for a little bit because my camera battery is charging. But I wanted to quickly show you guys my vision board process and what it looks like on my laptop. You're gonna see my screensaver and it's all of my goals and manifestations for the year. I will kind of like break it down and show you guys everything that it is. So this is my vision board and manifestation thing for the year. So as you can see, I have one for my desktop and then I also have one for my home screen. So I'll just show you guys the one on my desktop. You guys can add in whatever pictures you resonate most with. You guys can take pictures from Pinterest. That's like an awesome place to get ideas. But they also have an area inside Canva where you can take pictures here. So if you click on photos and just type in, we could type in health or healthy food. There's gonna be a bunch of different pictures of healthy food that comes up. And you can add that into your vision board. If you want to do meditation, you can type that in, but they have a lot of cool ideas on here. And what I like to do is add all the pictures first and then add the quotes and the different words that I wanted over it, basically, so you can read them better. But there was a saying that I actually learned the other day on TikTok, and it honestly was really cool, and I feel like it resonated a lot. But these girls basically said that since they've been using this saying in their life, they've been able to manifest a lot of miracles and just like a lot of stuff in their life. And it's kind of like a new trend on TikTok. A lot of girls are using it and I've been seeing really cool results. So it's sort of the same thing, but I basically reworded it to say, I am so blessed, everything works out for me. And so that's like in the center of my vision board. And then I also have certain words like grateful and give back and travel and just certain things that I wanted to include on my vision board. You also don't have to add as many pictures as I did if you don't want it this cluttered. You can add in like a few different themes of your goals and your manifestations, and you can just like lay them on and then maybe write in all the other stuff if you want to keep it more simple.